Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Rob and I talk about high-end collectible comics and comics art. Subscribe if that's your kind of thing. I love to talk about comics and I post 1 or 2 videos a week doing just that. I am back from Miami and in this video, I'm going to recap the recent Heritage Signature Auction. I covered the biggest lot in this Superman #1 CGC 9.0 in depth. But there's other stuff in the auction, and so I did a little preview, and I'm doing a recap now that'll have a couple of things that I didn't even mention in the preview because I've got a little bit more time. So let's take a look. It'll be fun. Action Comics number 15, CGC 9.4 off-white to white pages from the Lee family collection. $264,000. That seems like a big number to me. No one has any context, right? Like this book doesn't sell anywhere near this grade. There's probably only 1 or maybe 2 near it. So there is a church copy that's probably blindingly perfect. So yeah, I mean, who knows? But it seems like a really big number, right? This is the 4th Superman cover. It's a nice cover. It's a great looking book. $264,000. Nice. By the way, this puts the non-#1 church actions into perspective, right? Like if this is $264,000, what is the number 7? This number 7 is like a $2 million book, right? What's the number 2 worth? It's just crazy. So, if you were a person, if you were a prominent Virginia collector and you owned 1 to whatever, the church actions, 1 to 23, yeah, you'd be this. Wow. You'd see this result and be like, not bad. Goodbye. I made a good buy, you would tell yourself. Not that you needed to be told that because you own the church action one. Phantom Lady number 17, Davis Crippen D copy, $63,000. So I had just spent a bunch of time hyping up this book. I had just spent a bunch of time talking about classic covers and how they've just like gone up and up and up and up and up and crazy and gone crazy. And then this one sells for $63,000, which by itself is not a bad result, right? Like in a vacuum, and I'll show you why in a second. But a 6.5, so not as nice, not a pedigree, sold for $66,000 in June of this year. So for an 8.0 to get $63,000, obviously not a great result. I expected it to get 100. I just thought it was kind of a no-brainer. I was wrong. I did not predict correctly. But I think that it's a surprisingly low result. And I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair, if this book showed back up again. And if it didn't, and if it is in a collector's collection, and I mean, more power to you. I'm happy that you got a bargain. But I feel like this book might resurface because it seems cheap to me. I don't know. But $63,000 is definitely more than $7,767.50. So the consignor had the joy of owning this pedigree book for almost 20 years and then sold it for a nice profit. Wonder Woman 98, CGC 9.6, $33,600. I kind of think this is cheap. It's not. It's like 8 times the previous high for this book in any grade. So that's a lot of money, more than it's ever sold for before. But this is 1 of 1. This is a 9.6, and the next highest grade is 9.0. And it's kind of an underappreciated, kind of cool little key. So, I mean, Showcase 4, first Silver Age Flash is like a thing, right? And so you had to relaunch these characters in the Silver Age. Wonder Woman is awesome. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a great cover, too. I love the Wonder Woman fighting Wonder Woman. It's awesome. It's still a cool book. I'm not disappointed in this result. I still think it could have gone for a little bit more. Maybe 50 grand or something like that. Just to, I don't know. All speculative, right? Like sometimes there's no way I can predict or anybody can predict what something's going to sell for because we just don't know, right? If it's a unicorn like this, which is so much nicer than anything else, I don't know. It's also a 1958 DC, so it's not like they sell all the time anyway. This is a unicorn, though. 9.6, 1958 DC key. Whoever bought this, you got a good book. Amazing Spider-Man 361, CGC 9.9. As I mentioned in the preview, there are 3 9.9s. None of them are in GPA until now. 9/8 sell for like $300. So $10,800 is pretty good. I asked in the preview, Batman Killing Joke, PSA 10, exceptionally white pages, which I'm going to just say with dramatically forever because I think that's really funny. So anyway, it's a PSA 10. This is my first PSA book. And I speculated. I said, I wonder how close this will get to. So it sold for $7,800. PSA 10. And I was like, well, how close will this get to a CGC 10, which sold in 2024 for $28,800? So the answer is not that close. It's probably in line with what like a 9.9 would sell for, maybe. I'm not quite sure. But certainly the PSA 10 does not equal a CGC 10. So we'll see how that plays out over time. Frank Miller, Klaus Janson, Daredevil 177 splash page, number 1, original art. Marvel 1981, $137,500. This is the third highest price paid for a Miller panel page at Heritage. That makes me happy. As it's kind of like moving towards that hybrid era where it starts to look more and more like Janson. He's kind of like adding more and more of his feel. Although this is definitely, Miller's Anatomy, for example. But it's starting to feel a little bit more like that kind of hybrid that I love so much. But is an interesting transition period. It's not like 188 or something like that, which is like 90%, not 90, but a significant portion of Janson feel, right? But I love this page. I love the design of it, as I mentioned, and the image of Daredevil with the bow and arrow and the quiver of arrows on his back is just, I love it. And it's very memorable for me. Frank Frazetta. I saw Three Mighty Thipars. I don't know. I'd never read this. So Pellucidar, I've never read it. Doesn't matter if I've read it or not. I absolutely love this image. And $150,000 is a bargain. It's just whoever owns this, congratulations, because it's a really remarkable example of how good Frazetta is with ink. He's just a master. This page is definitely a bargain. $35,000 for Frank Frazetta, the efficiency expert, cover original art. This is Edgar Rice Burroughs, by the way. I know it's not associated with one of like his fantasy universes. This is why it's House of Greystoke published it, right? It's still Edgar Rice Burroughs, and it's an incredible Frazetta image. So I think it's a bargain. Whoever got this, hopefully it's somebody out there. Congratulations. I love this image. It's just so classic. And just shows like how just beautiful his work is in ink. I mean, again, look at the wall. It's just the noodling and kind of like beautiful little marks he's making to show that kind of weathered concrete stucco wall. Just so nice. I just want to show this one again. I have no idea what this should have sold for. I don't know. $40,000 for this incredible Bill Sienkiewicz Dazzler image. I just love it, and you get to see it again because I love it that much. James Bama, Doc Savage, number 16, The Spook Legion paperback cover painting, original art, Bantam Books, 1967, $55,000, which is right in line with what these have sold for previously. It's not the greatest, but it's also still a James Bama, Doc Savage cover, so it's gonna get its value. Here's a couple that I didn't cover. I have time now, so I'm going to cover them. Action Comics number 12, CGC 9.0, off-white to white pages, $204,000. That's crazy. I mean, it's great, and it makes sense. But again, think about what the Action Comics church copies would sell for, right? A 12, the church 12 is probably better than this. It would be a surprise to me if a 9.0 was the best copy of this book in existence. And if this sold for $204,000, you can't necessarily extrapolate because one of the buyers is out of the running because they bought this, but you can't extrapolate. I mean, it would just sell for a boatload of money. So there you go. I haven't shared a pre-hero detective in a while, and in fact, I haven't shared many pre-hero comics in a while, so I thought I'd share this Detective Comics number 8. It's one of my favorite pre-hero covers. It's really dramatic. This is a really nice looking copy. And so, yeah, I felt like I'd share it. Yeah. I got to get back to sharing some more pre-hero stuff. It's fun. It's fun for me because I'm Nobody's an expert on that. Well, not nobody, but very few people are actually experts on it. So I'm constantly learning about stuff that happened before Action Comics #1. Batman 66 CGC 9.4. Again, just sharing something I think is fun. I love this Joker cover. Not a great result for the consigner. Unfortunately, this book sold 2 years ago for $19,800 and it sold for $21,600. You cannot win them all. But again, as I always say, he had the joy, or she had the joy of owning this incredible Batman 66 cover, which I love. And then finally, I did talk about this in a short. I talked about how happy I was that this is now like outside of that Secret Wars 8 page is the top line art on Heritage right now. It's the high for Neal Adams period on Heritage, etc. It's like it is the cream of the crop, the top of the totem pole, because we just saw a totem pole for original art at Heritage, ignoring the Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #8 half splash. And it's deserved. I talked about it in short. I talked about it previewing this. I adore this image. I think it's one of the best images of Superman of all time by one of the most important comic book artists of all time. It presents well. It's everything. It is absolutely everything that you could wish for in a piece of original comic book art. You know, it's not Amazing Fantasy 15 or Fantastic Four #1 or whatever. It doesn't have that on top of it. It doesn't have the history on top of it. It's not a key other than the fact that it's an incredible cover. Well, it's a minor key, but I mean, the cover is what's selling it here. And just as far as Superman images go, it's one of the best of all time. And so deservedly now, it is at the top of the heap on Heritage for line art, which is great. And with that, we're done. I enjoyed this auction. I mean, obviously I enjoyed it with the Superman #1, but I enjoyed some of the other stuff in it a lot as well. And like the context of those early actions selling for what they did really like opened my mind to the possibilities of how much that run could really be worth. I've speculated a little bit about it previously, but seeing high grade early actions sell that aren't the church copies really puts it into perspective, like how rare they are, how difficult they are, and how popular they are. So it's really fun to see. That Action Comics #15, I just adore that book, and it's just such a great result. So I have the Comic Link auction is ending this week, so I have to recap that. That's been interesting. And Comic Connect, I believe, is ending next week. So I'm going to get those done. In addition, I am recording, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, the classic covers tier list, which is going to be fun. That'll be very cool. So I'll be sharing a few videos this week. And as I mentioned, on the 22nd, I have the premiere of my top 25 most valuable comic books in the world article, video, discussion. So that's coming. It's going to be fun. We're going to close out the year with that one. It'll be awesome. So thank you. If you made it this far, thanks again. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, share it with your friends, drop comments. Let me know what you won in this auction. I love hearing about that. Let me know what I missed. Yeah, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.